Cool.
Dun 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 dun.
Get it down now. And the journal too. Mr. Hertz and Pulitzer, have we got news for you? And the time is now. I don't remember the next line.
Da-na-na-na-na.
And the things we do today will be tomorrow's news. Hey, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co.
Hi, I'm Rena.
And today we're going over what we backed in April. I always pause. Every single month I always pause it. It's never, I've been doing this for like literally 2 years now, almost 2 years now. Every single month I pause because I always instinctively want to say the month we're in. And then I have to pause and remember we're doing the month before us.
Do you know what month we're in?
May. I still paused. Anyways, let's go ahead and dive into this. We're going over the Kickstarters we backed, Kickstarters and Game Founds, the crowdfunding campaigns we backed in April. We're going to go over this is always based off of the ending date of the campaign. So if it ended in April, that's when we're doing it, which means any campaigns that are currently active or that ended 2 weeks ago and you're like, or ended a week ago and you're like, what about that one? If it ended in May, we'll talk about it next month where I will immediately say May. That's what I'll do. I'll do next month. But for right now, let's go ahead and start this off. We have 23 campaigns. So we're doing 23 total.
32.
No. I said 23 and you're like, oh, God. I was like, there have been some times where we had like 30 plus.
Oh.
Yeah,
it's only
23.
How many did you back out of 23?
So this one has a few caveats, okay? I backed 11 with me so far.
Yep.
But there are 3 that I don't think I would have backed that I'm getting a copy from the publisher.
Okay.
So I'm always wary. Generally the way it works, if I'm getting a copy from the publisher, but I would have backed it anyway, I don't like make a whole big distinction. I just say I backed it. But if I'm getting a copy from the publisher on something I didn't back, or I wouldn't have backed, I'm always a little bit more hesitant because I want to impart what I would have done. So it's always a bit of a balance. So you're welcome, by the way, on those to guess. For bonus points, you get 2 points. Not that we keep score, but you get 2 points for everyone you guess you wouldn't have backed it, but the publisher sent you your copy. Okay? Let's go ahead and dive into this, starting off with our very first one, and timestamps to all of these down below. Starting with our very first one, Ares Expedition Discovery. What?
Wasn't the game knowing you
No. I realize usually I have it, like, you see the screen, like, ahead of time. So that was Board Game Geek, just going back just so people can see. That was Board Game Geek. That was just the website, Board Game Geek. Either way, moving on to Ares Expedition Discovery, Foundations and Crisis. This is the expansion for Ares Expedition. Terraforming Mars, Ares Expedition. This is 3 expansions giving you more content to the game, as well as a cooperative mode to the game Ares Expedition.
You backed it.
You sure?
Yes.
Based on?
You love Terraforming Mars.
But do I love Ares Expedition?
I have absolutely no idea. I don't
That's
remember.
a fair question. Lots of people don't know, because I've gone back and forth on this one. Ares Expedition is a game that I didn't go back and forth. I was disappointed with it the first time I played it, the original Ares, this is the expansion, because it wasn't Terraforming Mars, and I love Terraforming Mars, like Mina just said. Ares Expedition grew on me over time. It's still not Terraforming Mars, but it does have a place in my collection, and yes, I backed the expansion. Primarily because Crisis is in play, and I love Crisis. The other 2 expansions, I would get them, but I don't necessarily need them. Crisis turns the game cooperative and does so really well. That really gives you a nice spin. It's the only way I'll think I'll play Ares Expedition solo going forward. But that is Ares Expedition.
First time I got one right on the beginning.
No, you've definitely done it. Moving on to Barnyard, which will load. Barnyard, a bifold game. This is not from Button Shy. This is not from Malhya. It's a pocket-sized drafting game for 2 players. Not typical drafting, but you have the row of cards. You're trying to pull out these cards from the animal row, trying to use their abilities to get the right cards from the row and pull them and put them into your own little farm and score based on adjacencies. It's a wallet game. It's Button Shy adjacent in terms of what it's doing. It's like $10 or whatever it is. Actually, more than $10. It's $18, 10 Barnyard, $10. It was $10. It was $10 for the game, $24 for the deluxe edition of all this stuff and all those things. But yeah, this is Barnyard. 2-player drafting game, 18 cards, a little expansion module that gives you a few more cards.
I don't think you backed it.
I did not back it. I totally thought you'd guess I backed this one.
I know, because I
go for the Button Shies. I
Yeah.
go for the button. Why do you think I didn't back this one?
I don't know.
I think the art didn't pull me in enough.
Yeah.
The art really just didn't work for me. To the point that, I mean, the game might be amazing, but there's these kinds of scoring initiative games, there's a lot of them, and there's a lot of them. That's what it comes down to. There are a lot of these games out there that give you some sort of small scoring criteria, manage this, do this, score them all together, this one's next to that one. I like the genre, but I didn't necessarily need another one, and with 18 cards, I am skeptical of how much depth there is. All that said, I probably would have sold my soul if the art was, like, amazing and pulled me in or something. The giant red, the art that's really, really strongly 2D wasn't enough to pull me in on this one. It might be a good game. It may very well be. In which case, hopefully it comes back to Kickstarter and I'll back it then. Moving on to Blade Rondo over on GameFound. Blade Exactly. Blade Rondo by Japanime Games is a 2-player or solo game of what?
It has a different name.
Blade Rondo? Where? Where are you looking?
Domino Games.
Domino Games is, I believe, a subset or working with Japanime. I don't know exactly.
It has both names.
The game's called Blade Rondo.
No, I'm saying it has both names.
Yeah, it has. It has Japanime, Blade Rondo, Domino. It has all the stuff. All the stuff. But Blade Rondo is a 1 or 2-player game in which you're going to be taking a hand, I believe, of 7 cards, if I recall correctly. And the whole goal is to... What?
Just keep scrolling.
The whole goal is to have to build your hand of 7 cards that you're going to be using to defeat your opponent or to defeat the AI player. And it's all about building these patterns of combos from those cards, of the way you're going to attack, deal damage, restore cards, remove cards. It's all about building a specific pattern sequence and then just hitting your opponent with that sequence again and again until you win. Or lose.
You didn't back it?
I did not back it. I was very interested in this one, especially because of One Stop Co-op Shop. He really seemed to enjoy this one, and that really, it looked like a solid puzzle. The idea of building out your 7-card hand really intrigued me, but it was also expensive to get everything. The pledge over here was like the Legendary Swordian or whatever. It was $125 for a game that had an interest level of around 30 or 40 to me. Had I played it, don't get me wrong, I sell my soul to the devil once I love a game, but I hadn't played it. I was just interested in it, and $125 was too much for me to jump in, and $20 was not all in. So I passed on it.
There you go.
Next up, we have Casting Shadows.
It's so cute looking!
It is so cute looking. Casting Shadows, the board game. This is from the people who do Unstable Unicorns, Unstable whatever.
I was going to say the artwork looks very similar to the T-Turtle.
This is very T-Turtle adjacent. This is a little area control, powers and abilities, characters and all that, with these little figurines. These are figures. Painted figures.
Did they come in the painted figures?
Well, it depends what level you got, unfortunately. Like, how much should I pay for this game? That's the real question you should ask.
A whole lot, because children.
Oh, let's keep scrolling. Okay, so we got everything.
No, don't keep scrolling. It makes me so ill.
Oh, but we have to show you all the fun things.
Almost turn. You can
Okay,
scroll.
let's find the fun things. Let me find the fun things, because this is a campaign that is very intriguing. Look at these. We have the acrylic standees as well. So we have acrylic standees. Look at that owl. Look at that little owl and the gnarl card. What are they called again?
Back this game.
How much do you think this costs?
I don't know.
Guess how much do you think it costs? Oh, wait, we have this reversible plushies for all the characters, too.
You did back this one!
Based on what?
I remember you showing the kids something.
We have reversible plushies for all the characters. I have not shown the kids this.
You haven't?
Not the reversible plushies.
Are you sure?
I'm not making that mistake.
They'll
want every single one.
Did you back it?
Yes, I backed it.
And how much?
We don't want to talk about it.
Why not?
Because it's not cheap.
I went to a tile store today.
It's hundreds of dollars.
I went to a tile store today.
Because think about this. So T-Turtle, for context, they sell these reversible plushies. It was hundreds of dollars. I think it was like $300 plus for everything.
Oh, it's not that bad.
You are such an enabler. You're such a terrible enabler. Do you know how many jealous people are watching right now? They're like, she just said it's not that bad after you spent hundreds of dollars on a board game plushies. So I have a defense.
I have seen you go grocery shopping and buy
I'm
at the
terrible.
grocery store.
I'm terrible when I go grocery shopping. So for context here, and context is necessary because I need to defend myself. This is one of the most embarrassing backs I've made. But basically, the T-Turtle in general sells these reversible plushies. They're like $18 plushies that reverse in and out, and we have got them for our children.
And our kids love them.
Infrequently, but it's a special treat that we get them for. So I was willing to spend all the money to get all the stuff here because I kind of mentally budgeted like $200 of the $300 I spent on toys for our kids that will slowly disperse over time. We have like 9 reversible plushies coming in the set. Well,
in the set?
In this. Each of the characters.
Very happy children.
Each of the characters has their own reversible plushie.
Wait, when are they coming?
Oh, this is Kickstarter. 3.5 years from now.
Okay, great.
Not 3.5 years. Not that long. Oh, because you want Rafiki?
He would take anyways. He's old enough. He
will. But yeah, there's adorable stuff. Lots of fun things over here. But it really did heavily.
Earrings? Oh, they're keychains.
I didn't get the keychains. That I didn't feel a need for.
Oh.
There's I wanted the game components, and I know our kids like the plushies.
Shirts!
I debated the shirts, but again, this is me pretending that I'm actually responsible. T-shirts on this campaign were $25. Oh. We buy all our T-Turtle shirts when they're on sale for $12.50 a pop. And so
now they're on sale for $10 pop.
I'll be right with you. No, I mean, I'll have to go look. But either way, yeah, game-wise, it'll hold its value. If you look at their campaigns, they do. And so I would have just gotten the $50 game itself, but all the extras were bling for our kids, a good father, but a terrible role model. Anyways, moving on to Darkest Doom. Darkest Doom is a competitive RPG adventure. It looks like there's a map situation, and there is a map situation. Ignore that photo. It's very dark and doomy. We have basically a map situation going on over here. You have your characters. You're going to be upgrading them, leveling them up. You're wandering around this kind of RPG interactive state where everyone has their own kind of conditions of how they're going to win or different goals or adventures you can go on. It has powers and abilities. It has RPG-ish stuff. It's not
so much about this game.
Oh, please. I just mentioned a bunch of buzzwords. I could know nothing about this game.
I don't think you backed it.
I did not back it. I did not back this one. This is one, though, that I believe the publisher wants to send me a copy. I know that they were going to send me a prototype to cover the game, but they were delayed or something happened. And they're like, hey, we'll send you a final copy to cover it then. I was like, fine, no problem. Happy to cover it. I was very, very interested in this one, but I also wasn't 100% sold based on the campaign alone. This is one where I'm not sure what I would have done if I wasn't getting a copy. It was very compelling. Miniatures looked amazing. But knowing the publisher was planning on sending me a copy, don't know if they will or won't, it was like a good excuse not to jump all in. It's a lot of money for a game that was very interesting, but not one that I was confident on, at least not yet. That's Darkest Doom. Moving on to Dead by Daylight, the board game.
All of your D games right now are like very...
There's only 2 D games. There's
dark.
Darkest Doom and Dead by Daylight, the double Ds. Dead by Daylight. Dead by Daylight, the board game, is a very dark and dead. And then there's like, what's another D word that's horrible?
Disaster,
destroy, destruction.
Delirium.
Delirium. Any more. Dastardly.
Dystopia.
More. Devious. More.
That doesn't start with the letter D.
Devious?
No, more.
Oh, more doesn't start. Anyways, basically, yeah, Dead by Daylight, the board game, is based on the video game, which I've never played, so I have no affinity from that stance. This is basically a game where one player is playing as the killer, and the other players are playing as the hunted. The hunted are trying to escape, build generators, get out of here, and the killer is trying to wander around this map to these various locations. Very abstracted in what it's doing there, but you're wandering around the map to the various locations trying to kill the killers using your own unique abilities. Characters have their abilities, killers have their abilities, you're trying to build generators, they're trying to literally put hooks up so they can hang your dead bodies from it. I didn't back it. Okay. I didn't back it. I was interested in the game, but I wasn't sold. Like, I heard about this IP coming from Level 99 Games. There are a bunch of video games that I have never played that when the board game came out, I was like, boom, let me go look into it, let me get it. Game? This was a video game. Oh. I never played the video game. But there are a bunch of video games. I mean, I got Monster Hunter World, never played the video game. I got Six Siege.
That's that movie.
I debated, it was that movie. I got Six Siege, which I never played the most recent Six Siege. I played Rainbow Six way back in the day. Like, we're talking about, like, 2005 level graphics. No, before I knew you.
I know, you mentioned it.
Yeah, what else was there? I don't know. There's a bunch of video games I haven't played, but I got the board game of. This was one where I hadn't played the video game. I looked into it. I looked at the board game, and nothing pulled me in enough. It looked intriguing. The concept is always fun for me. The one versus many, the asymmetry, all that. But yeah, not compelled enough to jump in on this one. Encyclopedia.
Yes.
Wow, that was quick. Do I talk about this one a lot?
Nope.
Did we play it?
Nope.
Why are you saying yes?
It's an Encyclopedia. It's a word game.
There's nothing to do with words.
That's funny. Did you back it?
Yes.
That's so proud of
This has nothing to do with words at all. This is Encyclopedia. You didn't play this one? Did you play Museum Picture with us? I can't remember if you did. Museum Picture is the one where you're collecting sets of cards for a museum. You're slotting them into your row and your aisles, and you're trying to collect different colors. I can't remember if I played it with Jesse and Shiro, or if I played it with all of us, maybe. I don't remember.
Is that the one with the animals?
It had different artists of the various art people, and you're trying to pull cards from different museums and slot them into your own museum, and you want certain colors and icons to match up.
I don't think I played it. It sounds super familiar. We played a different game.
We may have played other games in the past, like once or twice.
Just a few.
Yeah.
No, there was another like museum-ish style game that had animals and...
I'm not pointing. I'm just saying.
Oh, okay.
I'm not pointing. I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm going to need more than that.
It was really pretty. You really liked it.
Encyclopedia? It came in a box. When did we play it? Like recently?
No, like a few months ago.
What?
And it had animals, and then you had to do...
Did it look like this?
Yeah!
Yes, I really liked it. I backed it. It's called Encyclopedia, and it's nothing to do with words.
Yeah, this one.
Yeah, I backed this one. I really liked it. You're right. Okay, I can't remember if you played this one or not. And then you said Encyclopedia. I was like, oh, maybe you played it with me. And then you're like, it has words. And I was like, you didn't play it with me. Encyclopedia is from Holy Grail Games. I absolutely love this game.
It was a really good game. I really liked it.
It was a really good game. And Museum Picture was it was, yeah, because so this campaign was pushed off multiple times. We probably played it like maybe October-ish. Yeah. Like it was late 2020, it was mid to late 2021. They pushed off the campaign a few times, but absolutely adored this game. Huge fan of it. Very, very excited for when it arrives. I like Museum Picture a lot. It's from the same company, same designers, similar elements, but less complicated. I like Museum Picture. I love Encyclopedia. But yeah, this is Encyclopedia.
Really funny.
Yeah. This conversation is absolutely ridiculous. Moving on to this one, Fire in the Hole, the Plundering Pirate game. Fire in the Hole is a game of launching... I have to play this. I'm going to go ahead and play this. It's going to mess with the audio, but we're going to just hit play. Okay, ready? Mm-hmm. Do I have audio up?
I don't know.
I don't know if I have audio going.
Computer.
Do I have audio going? Go, audio, go.
That's not how it works.
Go, audio.
That's also not how it works.
If a kraken sinks a sister ship, yell fire in the hole. There's a game you need to know. Just play your card when it's your go. The win, just get 4 in a row. It's fire in the hole.
You did not back this. The kids are going to be so mad at you.
Double barrel pitch black pirate patch throws. Just watch out for the she blows. Then you go, you throw again. What is the game you have to know? Fire in the hole.
Okay, it goes on for another like 30 seconds.
It's very adorable. I hope you backed it.
No.
What is wrong with you?
Because this falls in the well, there's a caveat. This one falls in the category of games like Catapult Feud, where I think the kids will really like it and not ask to play it past enjoying it. It looks adorable. You're basically flicking little like balls into this. Look, it folds up. It folds up.
And when will this game come?
Well, when the publisher sends me a copy.
Which is when?
They're sending me a copy.
Okay.
They're sending me a copy. Do you hear that?
Yes.
So I'm getting it. I just wouldn't have backed this one. This one where...
I would have totally backed this one. This is a game that the kids can play by themselves, and by the time that it gets here, they'll be older and they'll happily play it
Well,
by
then
themselves.
you would have made me play it, but it's unnecessary because they're sending me a copy.
Fine.
Yeah, this one, I wanted this one. I saw this, I've been humming, I have not gotten that song stuck out of my head since I watched this video. I was very compelled by the campaign. It was very adorable, very charming.
You need to scroll up.
Oh, sorry. The only problem with it was just my kids have Catapult Feud, and they love it, but they do not ask to play it. And so I was like, do I need to spend another $30, $40, different pledge levels, whatever, to get this game when they're not playing the other similar game? And then the publisher saw my coverage, and they're like, hey, we'd love to send you a copy. And I was like, I will say yes to that. I appreciate it.
Imagine Rocky's face.
Well, now he gets to see you. He-ho! Heave-ho! Yeah, that's Fire in the Hole. Moving on to For Northwood from Sideroom Games. This is a solo trick-taking experience. Basically, it's solo. Do you know trick-taking?
Uh-huh.
What are you going for?
I don't like trick-taking games.
I didn't like trick-taking either. And
you
then
love
I learned.
trick-taking games.
Yeah, in the past, 6 months, I've hated trick-taking games my entire life.
I know.
In the past 6 months, I've been like, I want to try every trick-taking game.
So clearly.
Did I back it? It's solo.
I know.
You know what trick-taking is?
Nope.
How does it even work solo?
I don't know.
It doesn't work solo.
Okay.
Do you think I backed this?
I have no idea.
What do you think?
I flip a
What do you
coin.
think? What do you think?
You didn't.
I did. You doubted yourself. Of course I'm trying to throw you off the game. Yeah, this is For Northwood, solo trick-taking game. Trick-taking is basically this idea of you have suits of cards and you have certain rules as to how each suit wins. And it's all about hand management. It's all about trying to manage your own hand against other players, or in this case, against the AI.
Oh,
various...
you discard things?
You have to discard things, yeah.
Oh, this is why I don't like trick-taking games.
I mean, you use your hand of cards. Of course you discard them.
I don't like discarding cards.
You don't like cards. You say that, but there's always exceptions.
When do I discard cards?
I don't know. Dominion.
Nope.
What do you think you do with them when they're out of your hand?
I don't get rid of them. I don't discard them.
They don't go from the play area to, the discard?
Yeah, but that's not discarding.
You play your card. Same difference. You play your card. You play your card, then it gets to the discard. Eventually. Anyways, For Northwood, solo trick-taking game, very charming, very adorable, was well rated, and was like $15. And with my new venturing into trick-taking, it was an easy back, especially given the price point. Moving on to Habitat, 9 Lives, and Basketboss. This is a set of 3 games from Board Game Tables. One of them is Habitats, one of them is 9 Lives, and one of them is Basketboss. Mm-hmm. Habitats is a game of... I'm trying to remember if you've played the game that's similar to Habitats. I'm trying to remember what the game is that's similar to Habitats. Oh my gosh, what game is this? Habitats is a re-implementation of a different game that I've played that I'm trying to remember. Okay, so it's similar to Nova Luna in terms of what it's doing. It's a very similar idea of you trying to be mindful of the placement and each one. You see those little dots, how each thing kind of wants to be next to certain colors? You know Nova Luna, right? You know Nova Luna?
I'm looking at dots.
Do you know Nova Luna, though? So you see these little dots in the bottom row?
I'm just going to believe that there's dots.
There's dots here. This one wants to be next to a blue, wants to be next to a green, wants to be next to a yellow. It's not next to a yellow. So it has that kind of element of each tile you place down into your tableau is trying to be next to other tiles. So that's basically the idea. Different gameplay, but it uses that mechanism. Right. Basketboss is a game of building out your team of, athletes so you can win. Obviously the least compelling to me no matter what happens. And then 9 Lives is a trick-taking game from the same creators of Ghost of Christmas, but same creator, same company.
Well, you clearly back this. You love Ghost of Christmas game. You play it all the time.
I don't like trick-taking. I thought we covered this. Okay, fine, I like trick-taking. 9 Lives is from the same creator. It has trick-taking. It has interesting elements of trick-taking, and that you get cards from the trick that won, and your cards, you can always see the back of what a player has, so you know their colors, but not what they have. So some interesting twists, and that's basically the set of 3 games from Board Game Tables.
Nice.
This is the part where you...
I said it, you backed it already.
Oh, fine. Okay, I backed it. Yeah, I backed it. I had very little interest.
that!
I had very little interest in Basketboss, basically none. But then again,
Take it from my classroom.
Well, I also had no interest in Ghost of Christmas the last time I backed a trio of games from board game tables. So, you know, it could be that Basketboss will really impress me, or it could be that I'm in this for Habitats and 9 Lives, which are the ones that I'm most interested by.
Nice.
Moving on to Jurassic World, The Legacy of Isla Nublar.
Didn't we play this?
We did... Didn't we play this? We played like 7 games of this. Well, actually, that's not true. I played 7 games of it. You played like 4 games. That's an excellent question. Did I back it or not?
No. Why would you do it again?
I did not back this one. But so this
Who are you going to play it with?
No one. I still have to finish my copy.
That's what I'm saying.
So this one's a little more complicated than that. This is a legacy game. And it's a legacy game that I'm 7 games deep into the 12 games from the prototype that I have. Now, normally when I get a prototype, if I like it, I'm like, of course I'm backing it. I like the game. This is a legacy game, so it changes the conversation. So I'm not backing this one for 2 reasons. The first is that I have it and I'm going to finish it, and I'm not going to buy another copy, at least not for years down the road when I've forgotten most of what happens and my kids want to play it or something like that. The second reason is the Kickstarter was expensive. Even if I was getting this game, I probably would wait for retail. I don't think the extra in the Kickstarter, to me, justify the extra price point, especially for a game that I'm throwing out after. So I really like the game, solid game, still need to finish the last like 4 or 5 games that I'm up to, but I really do enjoy it, and I think anyone who backs it will be happy with what the game is doing, although I will say, keep playing. Like, the more stuff gets added, more you go. I'm not gonna say exactly when and where, but there were multiple different spots where the game escalated and got more and more enjoyable. I would say keep with it if you're enjoying yourself at all. If you're not enjoying yourself at all, that's a different conversation. Anyways, moving on to Malhya, Lands of Legends. This is a cooperative narrative, story-driven cooperative game featuring 1 to 5 players as you basically have your characters. You're going to be wandering around going through a very giant, like, Gloomhaven-esque style adventure, but totally different than Gloomhaven, as you deal with the narrative choices and consequences. Over here, you have these elements of, cost, resources, what you get if you pass, you fail. As you wander around, generate consistent events over there. You're leveling up your characters. You have this whole character system. What are you doing?
Oh, we didn't back it.
Why not?
Because I don't like this style game.
But I do like this style of game.
You like this style game. Who are you going to play with?
Other people that aren't you. It plays 1 to 5 players. That's 1.
Then you backed it for yourself.
I did not back this
Okay.
one. This is one that I wasn't... and I have this problem a lot with games, where sometimes when it comes to certain genres, I don't necessarily know why they stand out from others. Now, if I play them, then I get to see and I get to enjoy them and I get to say, this game is amazing. In the case of Malhya, I didn't play it. I saw a game that looked really good. And I have a lot of games in the genre that look really good, and I have a lot of games coming in the genre that look really good, and I would have had to, I don't know if I would have had to, but I didn't see anything that stood out as this one I need for my collection. It just looked really good, and I have a lot in that genre of looking really good, and I, maybe I'll play it someday, and I'll regret my decision, and I'll want to get it. I'm not saying it's a bad game at all, I'm just saying, it's a crowded genre for me already. And I still have Gloomhaven, and I have Gloomhaven Crimson Scales, and so many different things, it's crazy. Anyways, moving on. Motor City, a strategic engine building roll and write game. Do you not remember this game at all?
I'm trying to look. It's hard. My eyes hurt.
Motor City.
You have this one.
Well, we have a prototype of this one.
Then you clearly backed it because I like it.
This is Motor City. I backed it. This is another...
I like it.
It's another roll and write game from designers of Three Sisters and designers of Fleet the Dice game. Thank you very much. Yeah. And this is Motor City. We enjoyed it. Possibly my least favorite of the... That's not... I don't know.
No, that's not true. It's a really great game.
No, I was going to say my least favorite from the 3. All 3 are great games.
All 3 are fabulous.
If you have to rank them, what would be your order?
Oh.
What's your favorite?
It's very fascinating.
That's exactly. So this right here is where I am. There are elements of all of them that I like more and less than the others. I don't know if I have a clear favorite of any of them.
Yeah, they're all different.
Like, I'm tempted to say Fleet's my least favorite, but that's also because I think I've played Fleet the most. So,
why?
I didn't say I don't like it. I said it's my least favorite. Because these ones are still new to me. I don't know. I like all the games. They're all good games. I like them all. That's what we're just going to move on with that. Anyways, moving on to the Nightmare Cathedral from Board and Dice.
Well, this was a very interesting game.
It was a very interesting game. Nightmare Cathedral, 174,000 euros away, 2,000 backers. This was area control with a nightmarish theme. It was absolutely excellent. It was absolutely excellent. I didn't have my testimonial on the page. That's a good testimonial. It was absolutely excellent. It was
really
a great
good.
game.
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, Rena walked in basically prepared to hate me. This is the way it works. So every once in a while...
Not always.
Oh, you had a look on your face. So generally, I try to pick my games for my audience. I cover games for the channel, and that does sometimes mean trying to ensure that games get played. It's helpful to play the games you're going to cover. And so to that end, I have different options for how I play games, and some of those options are my game group, some of the options are Crackle, some of the options are solo, some of the options are Rena, a whole bunch of different options on the table. In this particular case, I wanted to get a 2-player experience as well. I already got to the 3-player in. I wanted to get a 2-player in with Rena, and I didn't have enough to play 2 players. And so I set it up on the table and slightly coerced my wife to be willing to sit down and play it, because it's my job, honey. It's my job. And she gave me that look she gives me when she's not interested in the game that I set up. Because I usually try to pick games that she's interested in, and this one does not look interesting to her, or to me for that matter.
Really creepy looking.
But then she started playing, and then I started playing. Well, we started playing at the same time. That's how games work. We started playing together, and we really, really had a solid time with it. It was really enjoyable. You were compelled despite yourself.
It was surprisingly enjoyable.
It was surprisingly enjoyable. The actions are quick. The actions are upgrading. You're upgrading your tableau. You're taking actions. You're cashing rewards. A little bit of area control, enough so that there's enough of an edge that you need to be mindful, but not so much that it's punishing. And then the final end game when the nightmares come out, and it adds a whole new element of just complete torture and destruction to the game board. Really liked the game a lot. It was really, really fun. And oh, we got to the part. Did I back it?
I think so.
Yeah, I backed it. It was a really good game. I'm curious whether it lasts long term or not, but it really, really surprised us.
I don't know.
Long term? Long term, I don't know. There's always these games where I'm very interested in them, and some of them are just amazing experiences. Like Encyclopedia, I will have in my collection for years. I have no doubt about that. Nightmare Cathedral, I might have in my collection until I play it another 5 times, then it shifts into, it was good, but time to move on. Or it might solidify itself as one of the better area control games, especially for 2 players, which I don't have a lot of good 2-player area controls. Ank's pretty good, but there's not a lot in my collection. Antique Domain is not in our collection. We'll have a conversation later. Anyways,
played it in a long time.
Moving on to Paradox Initiative. This is Paradox Initiative from Elf Creek Games. This is Bejeweled the board game, to a degree. You have your little set of tokens over here, and you're going to be moving your tokens and rearrange them. You can't even see what's going on, can you?
I like Bejeweled.
You like Bejeweled? Oh,
that's Bejeweled a lot.
That's relevant. Well, you're going to be shifting around these tokens to make little Bejeweled pop thingies, and basically trying to... You have these rurals over here. What are you looking at me? Okay, apparently I'm late backing this one. I did not back this. I will go ahead and get notified for a late pledge.
I love Bejeweled! You know who also really likes Bejeweled?
Who loves Bejeweled?
Ricky loves Bejeweled.
Will you play this
with me? You know
who
also really likes Bejeweled?
Mm-hmm.
Tabby likes Bejeweled.
Will you play this with me?
I will play this with you.
Okay, then I'll get it.
Do I blow up anything?
No, what do you mean blow up things?
Good.
No, this is basically trying to accomplish these various missions on these worlds. It has this whole multiverse thing going on with art from different artists. Like each of the multiverse have a different artist involved.
Cool.
A very intriguing game from Elf Creek Games that I was interested in it, but not enough to pull the trigger on the pledge. But apparently I'll be doing so now. This is Paradox Initiative from Elf Creek Games. Moving on to Rove. Rove the Expansion Collection. This is actually from Barnyard. This is the expansion collection to Rove. It's a solo game, or cooperative in theory, but pretty much a solo game of managing your little rover on Mars. So he's wandering around.
Cute.
He's trying to hit specific patterns if I can find it. So you have the situation over here.
Oh, it's adorable. You totally backed it.
Yeah, I did. I backed it. I mean, I already have Rove, the base game. I just got all the expansions for Rove because I like this series of games. I like Barnyard in general. Their games have been, I mean, some of them are misses for me, but some of them are hits. This one is very much in the hit category. And I really like Rove. It's one of my new favorite solo games from them. And the expansion collection is just a ton of expansions in terms of ways of augmenting, implementing, adjusting, modifying. I'm just going to use a bunch of words.
That's so many words.
So many words.
So many.
It's the best words. Anyways, that's Rove. The bestest words. That's Rove. I got the expansion collection. Easy back for me. Moving on to Ryozen. Ryozen from Tabula Games. Ryozen from Tabula Games is a worker placement game across 3 rounds. You're placing your workers down in these areas over here, both to take an immediate action as well as a nighttime action based on who has the most influence there. So you're both being mindful of... What? No. You're both being mindful of the placement that you place as well as what happens as the game goes. There's a degree of intrigue going on in terms of being able to knock people out in order to attack them, do different things. You're going to be mindful of the various events that are coming out every single round. You're going to be trying to grab bonuses, grab upgraded deluxeified workers. Everything's happening in 3 rounds of play. It's basically an hour-long game of just place your workers, upgrade your workers, take bonuses, avoid the wrong events, engage with the right events, take scoring cards, and rinse and repeat until you win the game.
You didn't back
and collect moon shards.
Didn't back it.
I did not back this one. This is another one that the publisher likely is sending me one. That I like the game. I thought Ryozen was enjoyable, but I also thought it was enjoyable without being, oh my gosh, I love this game. I enjoyed it. Now, prototype, of course, so things can change as well, but I thought it was a solid game that I did enjoy, and I have a lot of solid games that I enjoyed. I don't necessarily need Ryozen. The publisher sends me a copy. Happy to dive into it more, see the final version of it, but I don't imagine it's a game that's staying in my collection forever. Moving on to Sentinels of Multiverse Rook City Renegades expansion.
Oh, fascinating.
So for context here, Sentinels Multiverse, you know about already.
I do.
This
I haven't heard about
is
that
the second edition. This is the expansion to the rebooting of Sentinels of the Multiverse.
I don't think you backed it.
Well, that was quick. You voting?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't back it. So, I did want to back it, or it wouldn't be here. In general, these games are all the games I was intrigued by, considering, debating, and settling one way or the other. But Sentinels Multiverse, they did a reprint of it a few months back, and I kind of passed on the reprint easily. It was an easy pass. I was like, I don't need it. I've loved Sentinels at a time, but I moved past Sentinels. And then when the reprint kind of landed, and people were buzzed and excited and into it and talking and all that, I was like, maybe I should have gotten it. Like, I do like Sentinels, and sure, let's get the new copy of it. Let's dive into the new version. And then this expansion popped up, and I was like, I can get the base game and the expansion, and should I and shouldn't I? And as you figured out, I settled on the shouldn't. I'm still intrigued. It's entirely possible that I will try to pick up the Sentinels edition again at some point in the future, or maybe if I find a copy, use it at a good price. I don't know. I like Sentinels a lot. Oh my gosh, I should get it. Tavi would love this game. Makes him read and do math.
It would.
I should get this game.
Okay.
Ooh, I might get this game. Pre-order now. I'm going to slide this to the end. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. My son, for context, has been really leaning heavily into playing games with me. He might even play this solo. This is like a game you can absolutely play solo.
Just have to make sure it's appropriate looking.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Oh my gosh. Okay, cool. I might actually get Sentinels, apparently. We'll see. I may still wait and try to pick up a used copy or something. I'm going to look for it on the secondhand market
First find the original game and get it for him.
Yeah, we'll see.
He and Yoda might like it.
Either way, that's Sentinels Multiverse. I'm compelled, but I kind of passed, and maybe I won't pass. We'll see. Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
From Scott Alms from Grail Games. This is the designer of the Tiny Epic series and a bunch of other games. In fact, Scott Alms is the designer of Almanac, the Dragon Road. And a lot of games, so don't take that too much.
Mixed polyomino and economics.
Mixed polyomino and economics. So, I'm going to talk about this game, and I'm going to see what you say. Silicon Valley is a game of trying to complete technologies. You can have these various technology cards up here, and you're trying to complete these blueprints for various technologies.
Totally
what you're doing is you're grabbing polyomino pieces, and you're going to be slotting them into these technologies to create them. You can hire other people's workers, which represent other polyomino pieces. You can pay to upgrade or train your workers, so they represent different polyomino pieces. All the while, you're slotting them into small little miniature polyomino puzzles on these cards that you're just trying to put them in, complete your technologies, then phase out and age out your technologies and things like that. Does this sound familiar at all?
No.
You got polyominoes, and all your polyomino puzzles are occurring on these small little cards.
Blueprint.
No. Blueprint. You remember Blueprint?
No, that's why I just said Blueprint.
Project L. This game to me sounded like it's Project L, but a little bit more gamified.
So then, yes.
Did I back it?
Yes.
No, I didn't.
Why?
It looks so blah. It looks so blah. The game looks intriguing, but it looks so blah.
Project L is a
Project L looks
plain
wonderful.
Game with colored chips.
No, Project L feels like an Apple product. It's like delightful and crisp and clean and white, and it's not white, it's colorful, but I want to eat the pieces from Project L.
Don't do that.
I haven't.
That's good.
Again. Silicon Valley, though, it looks so, like, no disrespect to the artist. I've actually looked up, I believe it's a her, I've looked up her work, and I've seen some of her other games that I thought did look good, but this one did not look good to me. I could not get behind any aspect of the graphic design. The art, the pieces, the components, the cards, the tiles, every single thing looked ridiculous. Like, even, look at this. Look, these are the polyomino pieces. Could they look any more blah? From all the polyomino pieces you've ever seen in any game, could these be any more blah?
I hear.
Could these be any more blah? Yeah, I'm
dramatic.
Very dramatic. I'm interested in the game. I really am, and I feel a little dirty letting my like visual aspect of the game overwhelm my interest in it. And to be fair, if I played it and I liked it, I would not care and I would get the game. But it's enough of a reason for me to say, you know what? I'll take a pass. Maybe I'll try it in the future. At which point I'll be like, I'll put out a review and I'll start my review off with like, I hated this game the first time I saw it. And I'll go into splash screen. Board Game Co. And I'll be like, and this game's amazing.
That's usually how I am.
Yeah.
With games.
I don't know.
Do you remember Blueprint?
I do remember.
You should get Blueprint again.
No, I don't remember Blueprint. That's why I asked you if you remember. You seem too complaining.
You should get it back again.
Moving on to Small City Deluxe Edition. Small City Deluxe Edition from AV Studio Games from Looty Booster. This is a game of building out your own city, but not like in some light, cutesy way. This is supposedly a very heavy game in terms of what it's doing. You're putting out stuff and building your city and placing down workers.
You just said stuff.
Yeah, I know.
Stuff.
For context, I did back this one, and I knew full well that when I got up to it, I would not be able to explain it coherently, and you would guess I did.
That's
but
cute.
I knew. I was looking through my things over here because I do like what's it called? Opponent
Research?
prep. What's opponent called? What's it called? Opponent prep? What's it called?
Oh,
when you're investigating your opponent?
I don't remember.
Opposition research. I was
Yes.
doing opposition research on my own games, so like, which ones do I have to make sure I can talk about cleanly so she doesn't realize I didn't back them? This one I got up to and I was like, I can't talk about this at all. She's gonna guess I didn't back it and I'll be fine. I can't describe this game, at least not well. I remember looking into it during the campaign and I figured out what I needed to be able to talk about it adequately doing the, 2-back or not 2-backs. I don't remember the details. I remember that it's a re-implementation of an already existing game. It's well rated. It's hard to find. Likely chance it'll hold its value. And I was interested in what the game is doing. I like this style of city builder game. I didn't remember enough about this one to talk about it, but something about it compelled me. And yeah, I backed it. Small City Deluxe Edition.
Cool.
Yay. I'm excited about it. I really am. From there, we have Tamashii, Chronicle of Ascend. Tamashii, Chronicle of Ascend from Awakened Realm Light. This is... How to explain this one? Tamashii is both a adventure narrative game as well as a game of programming. You're going to have your own little private programming board, if I can find it somewhere here. Tons of miniatures, tons of everything, tons. Oh my gosh, the amount of content. Oh my gosh, this is exhausting. There's so much content here.
So much purple.
So much purple. It's Neo. It's Neon. That's the word I'm looking for. Giant box, tons of cards, everything very purple and prettily and shiny and all those things. I'm trying to find a player board so I can talk about how this game plays.
It's so weird.
Dear Lord. Dear Lord, where's the player? Here we go. Okay, you have your little player board, you're pulling tokens out, you're sliding them to your player boards, you go through a programming phase every single round that's going to help you define the things you're able to do. You're going to be able to move around the board, you're going to be able to execute programs that attack the various robots that are attacking you. So it's a degree of programming, a degree of moving around the board, and a degree of just narrative adventure as you make choices. Do you try to break in through the back, or do you try to cripple the defenses? It's by Awakened Realms Light. Yeah, I backed it.
Really?
It's Awakened Realms Light! That should have been your first giveaway.
I don't know what Awakened Realms.
Awakened Realms. You don't know what Awakened Realms is?
I do. I don't know what the light version is.
Oh, the light is, what else have they done? Have you played any other games? I don't
Clearly
think you
not, because I haven't heard of that.
I don't think you've played any Awakened Realms. You played Flick of Faith. The flicking game?
I like that game.
The one you refuse to touch it?
Oh.
There you go.
That one. I had to wear gloves when I play that game.
Yeah, she doesn't not like the feel of the fabric. But yeah, it's Awakened Realms Light. I backed this one. I'm not confident in this one, to be clear. But I am intrigued enough. Like, I went from being not that interested to continuing to play it, and liking it more and more as I played it. Now, they only gave us 3 scenarios, so more and more is a relative term. But I enjoyed each play more than the one before it, for 3 plays, and then I called it a day, because that's all they had. But the general principle of what's going on here is intriguing. I'm not completely sold, not by a long shot. I did enjoy it. I do want to see where it goes. I think there's entirely way too much content that I will never go through. I think I'm going to get the base game, I'm going to play through a whole bunch of whatevers, and then I'll turn around, package the whole thing up, and sell it. Or it will compel me. I don't know for sure. I know I like the game enough that I want to dive into it. I just don't need all the extra stuff. I want all the extra stuff because it's shiny and pretty and miniatures and cool stuff. But it's fun. It's a fun game. It's a fun game. I'm curious what the solo mode is because that might define. I don't think I played any solo. Did I play any solo? No, I didn't play any solo. But I'm curious how the solo mode is. That might define exactly how far down I go down this rabbit hole. Moving on to the last game before we jump into the which ones would I have backed. Tidal Blades 2: Rise of the Enfolders.
You backed this one. You like this one.
I did back this one. Tidal Blades 2: Rise of the Enfolders. Definitely back this one. This is from Drew City Games, from James Hudson. Not from Skybound, from Drew City Games. It's a very, very pretty dungeon crawler. This, like Malhya before, it falls in the category of, if I hadn't backed it, I might be looking at it and saying, who really cares? What's it doing that's that different? But it is incredibly pretty, first of all. It's from Drew City Games, who I generally like their stuff. And then, more importantly, I played it and really, really liked it. This is simple, it was accessible, it was not too simple, but it was simple enough, it was accessible. My biggest complaint was the difficulty, but again, prototype, we played a prototype, they're tweaking things, they have a whole adjustable difficulty aspect of how it's going to adjust to how well you're doing. So I'm very intrigued for the final version of the game. I played this game 7 or 8 times, which is a lot for a game that only had 6 missions to begin with. We played a few of them multiple times. This has this little simple card playing row where you play cards, your actions down into these rows, and as you lock them in, you take the actions of the full rows and or columns to trigger just tons of cascading abilities. That's basically Tidal Blades: Rise of the Enfolders. Nice. And you already guessed I backed it, so there's that. Okay, so lastly, which 3 games would I have backed if I could only back 3?
Tidal Blades.
Tidal Blades.
I'm so proud that you think I remember any of the other names of these games.
We have Ares Expedition.
Yes.
We have Ares Expedition. No, okay.
Keep going.
We have Dead by Daylight Encyclopedia. We have Encyclopedia. Okay. We have Fire in the Hole, which I didn't back anyway. We have 4 Northwood, that solo trick-taking game. We have Tamashii, Chronicle of Ascend. We have the Rove expansion collection, Nightmare Cathedral.
Nightmare Cathedral.
Nope. we have Ares Expedition is the one I would have backed if I had one. So you're right in two of them. You're right in Tidal Blades and Encyclopedia and Ares Expedition. And if I can only back one,
it would probably be Ares Expedition to Encyclopedia. I don't know.
Which one?
Encyclopedia.
Encyclopedia would easily be my only back if I had to pick a single one here. I loved Encyclopedia. It was easily my favorite game from all of these. And there were a lot of games that I really enjoyed. I like Rove. I like Ares Expedition. I like Tidal Blades. I like Tamashii. I like anything else. Motor City. I like Motor City. Motor City is an easy one to pass if I only pick 3 because, again, I have the other 2 and I still can't figure out which one I like more.
Indeed.
So that's basically it. These are all the games we would have backed, or all the games I did back in April.
And are planning to back.
And 2 that apparently I'm considering backing, at least 1, and then 1 that I'll have to look into further.
Exactly.
Until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co.
I'm Rena.
And have a good one.